Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 presented by Stakes here to talk about Arkansas's basketball game with Oklahoma on Saturday. That one in Tulsa. Blake, it's been quite a week for the Razorbacks. Trayvon Brazile is done for the year. Just when Arkansas got Nick Smith back and going, the Razorbacks lose another key player in a different spot.
Yeah, we got a lot of Arkansas fans we know that follow our stuff, and they're very knowledgeable. And sometimes I think when you have injuries, people will say, "Well, we'll be fine, right?" Like it's just next man up. I'm not trying to be, the pessimist here, but I
He's
think it's
not a
hard to say
next man
that.
up for Trayvon Brazile.
Yeah, I mean that's my point is that it's just there's not another guy on the roster that can do what he can do. It's a significant loss. And again, there's no other way around. Again, we're not saying anything. I think that most Arkansas fans that have watched our stuff for a while now understand that this is a big loss, and I think it's one that um, it's certainly frustrating, terrible for the kid because he is someone that's going to play at the next level, and rehabbing a torn ACL is just not something you want to be doing at this point, and it is now it's just trying to figure out what's next for Arkansas. And I think this will be game one of kind of seeing what that is. Now, obviously, he only played, what was it, I think 8 or 9 minutes maybe before against UNC Greensboro. So you got to see some of that, I guess, in that regard. But, the depth shortens a bit now because, you're not just replacing, let's say, a guard where you can plug in another guard. You're replacing the tallest guy on your team and someone that could, rebound, score, shoot threes, incredible athleticism, and just a matchup nightmare. And I think now it's trying to figure out what do you do? How do you, kind of reshuffle the rotation a bit? Because as we said, this is it's not unusual for him to play basically 5 or 6 guys. And I think, Brazil was going to be part of their starting group for the entire season. And now it's trying to figure out, plugging in the Mitchell twins, you know, guys like Jordan Walsh, I think, they're going to have to step up and do different things. So, yeah, it's frustrating. And now we'll see how it kind of unfolds against a good Oklahoma team here.
Our channel is presented by Stakes. You can predict sports better than the crowd for a chance to win NFTs. With Stakes, players can cement their sports predictions against friends, other fans, and influencers forever. Don't let your sports genius go overlooked. Join Stakes and have the best predictions captured in the moment. Head to playwithstakes.com/14. Use our invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. Yeah, it was interesting. I thought the Mitchell twins would pick up more playing time as a result. One did, one did not. Musk kind of went with 5 guys, more or less. And you sort of outlined that. I'll be very interested to see where that changes, if Jalen Graham maybe gets some more time. But it seemed like Musselman gets in this thing where he's got his 5, 6, 7 guys, and he sticks with them. And a lot of times bigs are the guys that are on the outside looking in those situations the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean it's he can play a variety of different styles, I think. And now again it changes how you approach things on both sides of the floor because you are again taking out a guy that is 6'10" and could do some things that most 6'10" guys can't do. And I think that's where, like we said, I'm most curious, and it will kind of start with this game, I think, in terms of just sort of your reset to see what the rotation looks like. Because I do think it will be a very small rotation in terms of how many guys are going to play. And I think you kind of know who those guys are going to be. And it's just a matter of seeing who's going to step up and contribute in some of those areas that Brazil was so good in. And I don't know what that means in terms of maybe it's a Kamani Johnson playing more. Maybe it's guys I think that they will figure out. Guys that have some size, but again, you don't. I know the Mitchell twins, 6'9", 6'10". You said Jalen Graham 6'9", Johnson Walsh 6'7", of course Anthony Black, but yeah, I mean there's a lot of good size on this team, but I think it's still, like I said, I think going up against this Oklahoma team, you're going to really start to see what the rotation kind of looks like without Brazil on the floor.
Yeah, Porter Moser's team has lost a couple games, lost its opener to Sam Houston State, and then lost one to Villanova, I think last week or the week before. Grant Sherfield has been their main guy, the Nevada transfer, 6'2 guard, who has scored double figures every game, had 24 and 21 the last two games, and 25 two games before that against Seton Hall. What intrigues you about this matchup here with the Sooners?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean it's a Porter Moser team, so I think they'll be. I mean, they'll do some things defensively. I think that will challenge Arkansas a little bit, and offensively, I think kind of efficiency. It feels like that was the name of the game at times. Whenever he was at Loyola, and you look at kind of the way he's building his program at Oklahoma, I think you'll see a team that's pretty methodical. I mean, this is different in styles, right? And then again, I don't think that's it's not surprising because that's just kind of what you've expected. I think for Porter Moser there, and they're going to play a bit of a more slower type tempo. I don't want to call it slow, but like they're gonna make you work for it. Like it's going to be a bit of a grind, I think, in terms of how they'll
Yeah.
play, and I think that will that's going to certainly be something that Arkansas will be focused on and trying to figure that out. And I think it's just, we've said many times, Arkansas is not a great shooting team. And I think that Oklahoma will force them to take shot. I mean, they're going to basically dare them, right, to take some shots and try to beat them that way because I think teams, will probably find it to be a little bit of a challenge scoring against Oklahoma, and based on what we've seen to this point. So I think that's probably something that stands out a bit because they played a lot of those. I don't know, like I said, they're grinded out type games. I mean, they beat Ole Miss 59-55 a couple weeks ago. They've had some of those games. You talked about the Sam Houston game they lost to start the season. It was 52-51. They lost at Villanova, kind of a 70-66 type game. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here from terms of a style standpoint. I think this will be a lower scoring type game. I'm not saying it's going to be in the 50s or anything, but when you look at it from Oklahoma standpoint, I don't think they have the offensive firepower, 1 through 7, that'll probably make them feel good about winning a game that gets into the 80s. Because,
Mhm.
I mean, Grant Sherfield is their leading scorer, 17 points a game. Then you got Tanner Groves at 11. After that, Jacob Groves, 8.7, Hills at 7.8, Godwin's at 6.3, but that's about it in terms of their consistent scoring. So I think that's why, if you're looking at how this game could play out from a stylistic standpoint, it's, we say it's kind of cliche, I know, but like every possession matters because I think it's, Oklahoma doesn't want this to be a run up and down the floor, Nick Smith, Anthony Black on
Yeah.
on the run, because I think that puts them at a disadvantage here. That they need to be able to kind of control the tempo, and if they can do that, I think Oklahoma has a chance to certainly have some success in this game.
Before we get to picks, we've got a new partnership with BROTHROW, and it's exciting. It stinks to bet $11 to win 10. With BROTHROW, you can bet $10 to win $10. You can bet on all 50 states. Because BROTHROW isn't the house, bettors have a fair chance of winning. It's the only sports betting platform that doesn't take a cut of every bet. No deposits, no minimum bets. No need to connect your bank account. Bettors pay each other. Anyway, you don't even deposit money into the account. It's a hassle-free sign-up process. It lets you get in seconds. Go to brothrow.com/SE14. Sign up. You'll get in our Southeastern 14 group so you can interact with our community. We'll get you approved and in our group. It's going to be a fun partnership. Hope you guys out there will join us. Okay, we've got the Ken Pom prediction on the bottom. This looks like a low-scoring game. Bart Torvik has got Arkansas favored by 2 as a 66-64 winner with a 57% chance of winning. Blake, how you feeling about this?
I mean, this is like the Rusty special. Our friend Rusty, he always talks about my quotes, and one of them is "I don't know," because like this one without Brazil, like I just don't. I know again we have a little bit of a
They
sample
struggled
size.
against Greensboro the other night
Well, it's
without
just
him.
this is just a different kind of situation because it's your first full game, and I think that's given them some time to in practice to do some different things and see what's working and what's not going to work, especially heading into a game like this one. I still believe in the duo of Nick Smith and Anthony Black to the point to where I think Arkansas is still good enough to win this game. Um, but it's just like, and maybe it's not just in this Oklahoma game. Like maybe I think Brazil's absence is going to be felt in every game they play. But maybe it's not as much in this one, but I don't know about that because again, you look on the other side and you do have kind of a different makeup of a team here. Whether it's a Tanner Groves who's going to do some different things. Um, so I just this is a tough one because I think full strength, I would have felt really good about Arkansas and saying, hey, I just think Arkansas will push the tempo here and really make things challenging on an Oklahoma. But on the flip side now, without Brazil, I look at it and wonder, in a game like this where it does become a grinded out type game, and maybe you need that 6'10" guy to go in and do the things that he could do. Where does that come from? And I think that yes, I know Arkansas fans will say, well, it's going to come from this guy, it's going to come from this guy, and that's going to have to be the case for them to get where they want to go this season. But I think right now I don't think it's unrealistic to look at it and say, man, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know, like that. There's just a lot I think we've got to figure out, and I think this can be a good game to do that, but it could also be a bad game to do that because Oklahoma's not a bad team. I mean, you're talking about a team that's beat Nebraska, who beat Creighton, which of course Arkansas has seen. They got wins over Seton Hall, Ole Miss. Um, I think they will be very efficient in their attack. But I still think from a talent standpoint, Arkansas forces turnovers, and I think that's kind of still going to be something that they can have success with here. And so if Arkansas can continue forcing turnovers, been a good defensive team as we know, very aggressive, physical team. You just look at their defensive numbers; they've been really good this season. I think that maybe winds up being the difference in this one. But if you're asking me, confidence in here. I don't, because I think, like I said, going back to the beginning, this is a significant loss for this team. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
their season's over, but it's just I think we need more than one game to really know what this team's going to look like long term without Brazil in the lineup.
Well, we will be here to follow the Razorbacks all basketball season and baseball season for that matter, and football season. We got bowl games going. We're going to preview every single key basketball game involving SEC teams this year. We have previewed every single football game involving SEC teams. We're getting to the bowls right now. Best way not to miss anything, hit that subscribe button. Thank you to our partners, BROTHROW and Steaks. He's Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We are Southeastern 14. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you again soon.